Coming up this week on The Local Game, we'll discuss the round one results from the Go Sunny Solar WNPL, plus the Australia Cup qualifiers. Has some great surprises. We'll touch on that. Plus, later in the show, I'll be catching up with Omar Hassan from Northern Demons. That's all coming up in today's episode of The Local Game. Welcome to The Local Game for episode 5, wherever you're watching on Keko Media YouTube page or Channel 44 across the weekend. It's a pleasure to have you back once again to discuss the local game, local football here in South Australia. And what a weekend it's been. The Go Sunny Solar WNPL kicked off on the weekend. Plus, we also had Australia Cup qualifiers around the grounds as well. And some cup sets happened as well on the weekend. So we can't wait to touch on all of that, plus a lot more. And to do so alongside me, I'm welcoming another co-host in Ali Atkins. Good to have you here, Ali.
Thanks, Johnny. It's good to be here.
What a big weekend it's been in local football. Yourself as well. You first came back after a long pre-season.
Yes, we're back.
You feeling more comfortable and excited for the year ahead?
Yes, it was it was so great to be back, and looking forward to the year.
We'll discuss the round one results very soon, but before we do, head into the hot topics. And first off the ranks is Flinders United being awarded the Club of the Year for the Club Changer from Football Australia. And a little program they started a year ago for women's and girls football. What a great achievement for Flinders United to be the first metropolitan club to be nominated as the Club of the Year. And also what a great thing, recognition for South Australian football as well. Yeah,
it's great. It's great for South Australian football, but especially the women's game. Putting a spotlight on the women's game and the progression of young girls getting into the sport in general. It's awesome to see that an Adelaide team has made such an impact. And great for the club as well. They're quite recent, like a quite new club to get together, and they're still doing well, like to be able to stay into the WNPL. So
exactly, and all the things they're doing in between as well with the coaching for younger women, younger girls coming through the ranks and helping out in so many different areas. They do a lot, and there's a great little feature on Football Australia's on Facebook as well, which you can check out, and goes a little bit more in depth into the background of it. And it's great what they're doing for the women's game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And let's move on to juniors as well. Mini Roos on the weekend. Adelaide Comets put on a great day for the Mini Roos Gala Day. Over 250 teams from 23 FSA clubs all came together at Ellis Park on the weekend, which from all accounts was an amazing weekend, and all the kids absolutely enjoyed it. It was over 1,000 people down there on the weekend. It was incredible.
Good. Oh, I'm sure it would have been amazing. Like, it's the best when you have those little activities and when you're young and you remember that growing up, and it makes you want to keep playing the game. Absolutely.
And so many aspiring kids there. We could see the next Matildas and Socceroos there on the weekend. So a great achievement. They've been doing it for a few years now, LA Comets, and it's great to see what they're doing. And I know a lot of the kids are really enjoying it, which is great to see. And also another hot topic as well, Emily Hodgson, 100 games for LA United women on the weekend. That's 2 now in the matter of 3 games. Great achievement.
Yeah, amazing. Emily really deserves it. She is such a legend. She is a big person in the WNPL as well. Always comes back to play WNPL after finishing for United. Just a great person, great player, and she deserves it. I'm so proud of her.
Absolutely. Well, great achievement. Emily Condon was the first one. Yeah. Only 3 games go to get it for LA United, and now we got the second within 3 games, which is great for the club to have 2 Emilys getting 100 each.
Yeah, it's awesome for both of them.
Let's move on to the round 1 results from the weekend. The Go Sunny Solar WNPL kicked off on the weekend. Some surprising results for some. What did you make of the round 1?
I was expecting all of the results, maybe not the scores, but I was expecting the results. So no massive shocks for me. I was probably expecting us, Adelaide City, not to draw, but everything else was pretty expected for me.
Well, Adelaide City, you were down 2-0 to Uni at halftime. What did you guys make of that performance from you guys, and to be able to come back in that second half as well?
Yeah. Well, I'm immensely proud of my team. We had a rocky start. We all knew that, but we knew after halftime we had to really bring it. We're an amazing side and well capable of playing so much better than we were, and we really brought it in that second half, and we were probably unlucky not to get a win in the end. But yeah, that second half from us was a great performance. And then I think leading into the next games, we're just going to build on that more and we'll be very good.
We'll look at the grand final rematch as well from the weekend. NTC taking on Salisbury Inter. Well, we weren't sure what to expect in that one, but NTC managed to get a bit of redemption from last year's grand final loss. A great way for them to kick off the year, NTC.
Yeah, good for them. I think they did have a little bit of a point to prove and probably a bit of vengeance. But yeah, again, I'm not crazy surprised with the result. I think that, was expected to get them over the line.
And we look at some of the other results as well. They're all, as you did mention, they are all pretty well expected from what you see. Adelaide Comets, a very strong side, and Sturt being their first game in the WNPL for 2024. It's not a shock for them to win 4-0, but the way they did, you think it's a very strong side for Adelaide Comets.
Big, like a great start for Comets, obviously. Sturt coming into it, like they're coming into the previous premiership winning side, so obviously it was going to be tough for them anyway, but I have heard that they gave it their all as well, which is great to see, and I'm sure it'll be good for them to get that experience and then know like this is the WNPL, like you got to really fight for these results. So
one team that knows exactly what that's like is Flinders United, who managed to do very well last year to stay back up for the second year in the Go Sunny Solar WNPL. They had a hard task on their hands on Friday night as well, taking on West Adelaide, who, look to be favourites this year as well to do something with the way they've rebuilt their squad and brought in some familiar faces. West Adelaide are looking to be quite a strong side.
Like you said, some familiar faces returning back. Nicole Tilley, one of those. But also a lot of new faces. So I think their squad's looking good and a good start from them too. Many goals. So we'll see. It'll be interesting when we come up against them. But I'm excited for that too.
And lastly, the other result was there as well was Metro United getting the win as well. So obviously not another shock for you.
Yeah, no, I was expecting Metro to get over the line. The 1-0, I think that's about fair.
Well, that's all the results from the Go Sunny Solar WNPL from the weekend. Some great highlights there as well, some great goals. But we got more to talk about as well with the Men's Football Australia Cup results from the weekend, the qualifiers, and some really big cup sets there to talk about as well and dissect. That's all to come. Don't go anywhere. Right here on The Local Game. Welcome back to The Local Game. On the weekend, we saw the Australia Cup qualifiers kick off back here in South Australia, where the RAA NPL SA sides joined the competition in the round 4 qualifiers on the weekend. Some great results, some surprising results, and some down to the wire games as well, with a couple of penalty shootouts. But on the weekend, Saturday, especially MA Hawks, Adelaide Olympic, a game that, MA Hawks, an amateur side, managed to come back and get the equaliser, but Olympic, being an NPL side, stronger of the two, they managed to get a convincing 3-1 win at the end.
Yeah, a bit intense for a little bit there with the drawing for a while, and then it was good to see, though, T-Boy getting that goal. I did go to school with him for a little bit, so it's good to see him doing well for Olympic.
It's good, a great addition to the side for Olympic, who are struggling in the NPL at the moment. They've had a win so far, but a side that's going to have a long season ahead of them. But someone like T-Boy Kamara, we know what he can do. Adelaide United, one of the youngest players at the time when he did debut for him many years ago now. It's a long time ago now. I remember the day when he did debut at 15 years old. And it's good to see him back in the local leagues and featuring on the weekend's fixture as well. Also, Friday night, the Strikers Western Strikers held out to a 0-0 draw at halftime, but unfortunately, the strong Campbelltown City showed what they normally do and their strength, and managed to get the lead through. Well, someone not surprising as well is Maury scoring from a free kick.
Yeah,
what he's normally what he's known for, and ended up taking it out with a 2-0 win.
Yeah. Campbelltown, I mean, they're a solid team. Strong side, always have been. So they were probably going to get over the line in the end anyway. But yeah, still a good fight from Strikers as well.
Well, definitely no surprises there. And we'll discuss the 2 penalty shootouts. We love penalties because it goes down to the wire. And, well, these two definitely went down to the wire. Well, if you're at that game, you definitely got your money's worth.
Yeah. When you go to penalties in any game, I think it's intense and the fans love it. But in these cup games, it's even more. There's even more to play for, and it really is like magic when we say magic of the cup, because you never know what can happen. And yeah, it would have been great to be at that game, I reckon.
Definitely was a 3-3 in the end after extra time, and then a 5-4 win for them on penalties. But it was a 4-2 win on penalties for Adelaide Blue Eagles, a State League 1 side, very strong this year. Dante and Ricardo da Silva, 2 very good players in that squad, just to help them get over the line, and especially Ricardo against his former side in Croatia Raiders, managing to knock them out on penalties as well.
Yeah, amazing players in that team. I think they will do really well, and like Ricky, he's a legend, so I'm sure he really led those boys.
And let's talk about a team that's close to home for you as well. Adelaide City, a 2-1 win over South Adelaide. Not unfamiliar foes for them. They play in the same league, so it's a 2-1 win for them. What's it been like for Adelaide City from you seeing you train at the same time going into that game? What was it like for them heading into this fixture?
Yeah, I think the boys would have been very happy with that result. They probably had it easier because they know a bit about South Adelaide, like you said, in the same league. But yeah, Pez has really got the boys training hard this year. They're really come together as a squad, and I think it's been a good start for them so far. And yeah,
Jonathan Rideout getting that late equaliser as well right before the halftime break. That obviously helps him go into the halftime break, but no surprises, Nick Bucco scoring as well.
Always does Nick Bucco.
He is a really good player, and it's a great captain as well for the side. So it's very excited to see what they can do in the cup and see how far they can go this year as well.
Yeah, it'll be a very interesting year for the boys. They really need it. They need to step back up to where they can be, and I think they've got everything to be that top side.
Well, we could talk all day about the Australia Cup. Absolutely love the knockout competitions as we return back to the local leagues this weekend. But before we talk more about the upcoming rounds, let's have a quick chat with some of your favourite players.
Hot cross buns with sultanas, yeah, for sure.
With? Yeah.
Without.
With.
Without. Plain hot cross buns or chopped chips. To be honest, I've always wanted it all year round. Yeah. It's an easy way to have breakfast without too much effort. They can be out all year round. It's never too early, I think.
Never too early. Never too early. Get into it.
Never. Yeah, all year round. Why not?
It's never too early. I could eat them all year round.
Toasted with a lot of butter. Or chopped chip.
Slightly toasted with a small amount of butter.
Yeah, a bit of butter, microwave 20 seconds, and straight as it is.
Bit of butter melted on top, and sometimes a bit of jam too.
Yeah, heated with butter, melted butter.
We always love hearing from our local players with kicking it with the players. Well, I got to sit down and chat with Omar Hassan from Northern Demons. Let's have a listen to my chat with him. I'm here with the head coach of Northern Demons, Omar Hassan. Thank you for joining me, Omar.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
Well, on the subject of Australia Cup on the weekend, we love a good cup set, and you guys provided one against Para Hills Knights. Tell me a little bit about that. State League 2 team knocking out an NPL team out of the Australia Cup. Must be a great achievement for you guys.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a very proud moment for me as a coach, the players, the club. It was definitely a good night. Thought we managed the game really well, and it was very proud of that for sure.
We look at the circumstances around that game as well. You going into it, it was meant to be at home in Pirrie.
Correct.
And everyone knows how much a lot of clubs complain about having to travel that distance,
Yeah.
sitting in a bus all that time. But because of the heat, there had to be a change of location, which ended up giving a little bit of an advantage to Parry Hills Knights.
Correct.
How did you guys manage to cope with that and still be able to pull off such a great win?
Yeah, look, it was pretty disappointing for the club and also for the community in Port Pirie. I guess it's a town that loves their football, and for them to have an NPL side come into Port Pirie was something that they were looking forward to. But unfortunately, due to the extreme heat in Port Pirie, the game couldn't be played on artificial. So the club and Parry Hills and Federation had to make a decision about reversing the fixture and playing in Adelaide. Look, our approach was the same. We didn't it didn't change anything for us. It was more disappointing for the crowd in Port Pirie, but we've prepared really well for the game, and the boys were looking forward to it for sure.
Well, it's, as you mentioned, it's a great win for the club, and it would have been a great spectacle to have the NPL side come up there. But you're 3 rounds into State League 2 now, which is early days still, but you haven't. Your third game against Port Adelaide has been postponed for a little bit due to the heat once again. But how are you finding the early on stages of the season for you guys?
Yeah, no, it's been great. Obviously, we started our cup round, first preliminary round against Titans. That was a bit of a tricky opposition, but yeah, we've obviously won that game, and then kicked off against Gola at home, and that was a fantastic display. Obviously winning 6-1, then played against Pontin, which was a bit of a tricky opposition always. They've got some fantastic players, and yeah, that was a bit of a draw, but from our perspective was 2 points lost, and you can see with Pontin probably they were quite happy with getting a draw in Port Pirie. And then obviously going to the Parry Hills game, and I'd like to touch more on that. To be honest, the way we've tackled this game, I think it was I was very proud of the boys, especially how we showed a lot of maturity in managing parts of the game. Obviously there was times where we slowed the game down because it didn't suit us to go against an NPL side back and forth, so we slowed the game down. But there was times where we hit him on the break, and everyone can agree, a 3-0 win against an NPL side is not a fluke. We worked hard for it, and it was well deserved, and yeah, I was very happy with that. So yeah, definitely it's a good start so far. But the one that really counts for us is Adelaide Hills on Saturday in Port Pirie. That's the one that counts for us at this stage.
Well, you've had a very good run so far. 3 games, no loss just yet. Hopefully it continues on. But does that put a bit more of a target on you now, heading into this weekend?
Look, to be honest, yeah. Look, obviously beating an NPL side. Now, look, I would have loved to fly under the radar for a little bit more and take some teams by surprise. But I guess people eventually, it's on a day. So it's how much you want it on a day, and I think we've got a lot of quality, a lot of desire within the group. We've got depth, which is something that Northern Demons didn't have much of the last few years. But yeah, we're quite lucky this year, and as I said, we've got a number of fantastic players. So look, it is what it is. Now people know about us, and yes, we are probably a target now. But at the end of the day, it would just take it one game at a time, and Adelaide Hills would be the one that we be focusing on for sure.
We'll talk a bit about what you'll have to deal with as well as a coach of the Northern Demons. Something we know that is that you guys are very far from all the rest of the clubs and the rest of the league. How are you managing that? Because we know there's always two trainings per week, one in Adelaide, one up in Port Pirie. How are you managing that as a coach? Yeah,
look, it's I didn't realise how, obviously I knew there was going to be a bit tricky, but I didn't realise how tricky it is. And what a lot of people don't know is that we do have a squad in Adelaide, Port Pirie, also in Port Lincoln. We've got 2 senior players, and also in Roxby, there's a senior player that's based there due to work. So what was so interesting was that first game of the season, it was literally some players meeting one another for the first time. I thought like, hey, this is Johnny, this is Omar. Hi, nice to meet you. Which was really, I looked at it and I just couldn't help myself but to like, wow, this is going to be interesting. But to be honest, credit to the boys. And this is something that I didn't hesitate about accepting this job. Was I knew there was a good club with good good environment and desire to win. So for me, it was easy decision. But yeah, the way we manage it is obviously there's training here, training in Port Pirie, and the boys in Port Lincoln will have to do their own running and report back to me. So a lot of communication that happens throughout the week, as you can imagine. But I think so far we're managing well. We're doing a few videos which we send to the players as well. So that keeps him a little bit in the loop of what we do in Adelaide and stuff. So yeah, but so far so good.
Well, looks like you're doing a good job managing it at the moment.
Yeah,
I can just imagine how tricky it would be to try and juggle those three as well. Make sure everyone's doing their job as well.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's good.
Well, good luck this weekend. Hope you guys can continue your fantastic run and look forward to seeing you in the next stage of the Cup.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it. And thanks for having me again, Johnny.
No worries. Omar, Hassan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks. Appreciate it.
What a great win and a cup set. We love a good cup set here on the local game. What a great chat with Omar, Hassan. Don't go anywhere. We got to wrap this up on the local game right after this short break. Welcome back to the local game as we're ready to wrap things up right here on the show. Well, thank you for joining us once again on Keko Media YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe on our page so you can not miss an episode every week. Or if you're watching on Channel 44, we thank you for tuning in each week as well. And we hope you can head out to a game at some point because you've got to enjoy the game and try out some of the food as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Favorite food, Ali? What's your favorite at the games?
At a game, hot chippies.
Hot chips.
Always hot chippies.
That's always one thing to try and compare at each club. I've got my favourites, but I won't mention them today because everyone's equal. But also with the barbecues and that, you can't go wrong with a good barbecue. Well, make sure you can get some food this weekend for the round 4, which is a very tasty weekend as well, with the round 4 fixtures for the RAA NPL SA, where we take a look at some of those fixtures coming up. Well, if you're going to head down to any game, try and head down to one that's almost as tasty as this Comets Para Hills one, because Comets undefeated, got 9 points from the 9 available up for grabs from the first 3 rounds, looking to be an exciting fixture on the weekend.
Yeah, it's looking to be a good one for them. Big game. It'll be interesting to see if they can back it up, get another win on the board.
What are you making of their performance so far? They're an outlier in the league. I don't think people expected them to be kicking off the league the way they have with the 3 wins in a row, especially last week against Adelaide City. A win there at home. What are you expecting from the side to going into round 4?
Yeah, well, that one against City was a tough one for me, being City in my club, and my brother is actually the keeper for Comets. So I was a bit in 2 hearts about who to be supporting there. But I know that he is happy with how the team are going. And I think all of them should be. They have some quality players in that team, and they've really brought it together this year. It'll be a big one. Yeah,
Daniel Vaughan, a great goalkeeper as well, keeping nice and strong at the back for Comets, helping them out there. Hopefully they can get a clean sheet once again on the weekend. And also another tasty fixture as well is the Metro Modbury game, semi-final repeat from last year. That was a very tasty semi-final last year. So looking forward to seeing how that pans out for the two different looking sides, a little bit looking different sides this year. So be interesting to see how that pans out. And also, let's move into the WNPL, the Go Sunny Solar WNPL. This weekend is another big fixture as well, happening there with Comets, Salisbury, Inter, two strong sides from last year, looking to try and redeem themselves this year in the Comets sense, but Salisbury Inter trying to come off the back of winning last year as well.
Yeah, it'll be a big one. Big one for Salisbury, I think. They've got a bit more to play for. I think they've had a couple of changes in their side. They're missing some key players still. So they'll really have to bring it against this Comets team who do have some new faces as well. So I'm probably going to lean more towards Comets, but we'll see. Salisbury have to bring it.
Absolutely. And lastly as well, your fixture as well. You're coming up Adelaide City against Stir.
Yes.
It's a double header on a Friday night.
Yay.
How excited are you to take on Stir, a new side, new look side coming into this year?
I'm so excited for this game. It's always fun playing new teams. So I'm really keen to play against Sturt. I don't think I've ever played against them. So it's refreshing. And to see play against players I've probably never played before, because Adelaide's obviously quite small. So we're so used to the same faces. So I know that they've also been working hard. So it'll be an interesting one. And hopefully we bring it again, and it's an exciting match in the end.
Well, we look forward to seeing all those fixtures. Make sure you head out to the Go Sunny Solar WNPL, or also the REA NPL SA this weekend, or the state leagues, and also the WSL as well. A lot of fixtures happening. All 5 rounds kicking off this weekend all together. First time this year that all 5 rounds are on together, because obviously the Australia Cup on the weekend. So make sure you head out, and especially to a double header on Friday night, LA City. And it's going to be a big fixture down there. Well, let's move into our final topic of the day, double headers. Now that we're on it, how good are double headers? As a player, what do you love about having a double header before the men's especially as well?
Double headers are great. It's so good for the players, but also the fans. You find there's more people there. The atmosphere is great, and I think especially playing for the women's side, our attendance is obviously a little bit less than the men's. Building a lot, which is great. But when we do come to the game and we have so many people supporting because they've come out to watch both teams, I think you play better. Like you're stepping it up. You not necessarily want to impress, but it's just, it feels a little bit more special. And then you see lots of juniors come out and watch as well, and it's just a special moment, and it's such a vibe.
It's just your Friday night. Some clubs have their juniors playing on a Friday night or training on a Friday night, so it makes it easier for those families to come out and stay there for a double header especially. Do you think we should see more of it? We know Comets are looking to try and do double headers once they get the fence all ready to go and have the women's and men's together. Do you think it's something that we should see encouraged more along amongst the clubs that do have those women's and men's senior teams? Yeah,
100%. I think these double headers, they bring together a club. Like you said, like there's juniors there. Their parents will come watch the games. Like it just really builds a club all together. And connects the teams, connects your women's sides to your men's side. It just grows the game in general. And it's just entertaining and fun to play. Like as a player, it's so fun.
And I think it's great as well. We know what a strain it does put on volunteers to try and set up for these games, and having it's like a club like you that may host the women's and men's both at your home ground, not a Service FM, but at your home ground, you've got to set up 2 different days to try and do that kind of thing. But having it all together, the 2 different sets of volunteers as well can all get together and support the club like you just mentioned as well. It's great for the game in general. Yeah,
it's so nice. And also there's something special about it being at your home ground. As great as Service FM is and the other facilities in Adelaide, when you're at home, it's special. And you actually remember those nights. I remember some nights I've played in double headers and things like that, and I think I always will. And
it's always a good night. You can head down there, and you also can go have some pasta afterwards to be social. So
yes, there's always food around, and yes, good pasta down there.
Absolutely. Well, a Friday night, pasta, football, and more football is sounds like a plan. Head down to your games on the weekend, a double header, or just choose any game on the weekend because there's some great fixtures out there. Whether it's food or football, they're both tasty in my book. So head out and make the most of this weekend. Well, we've almost run out of time once again, but before we finish off today, we've got to bring him back. It's Antonis Pagonis from Front Page Football with Press for Time.
As a young footballer, he played for Fulham, for Comets and for Adelaide United. But these days, South Australia's Kusini Yengi is setting England on fire. The young striker is leading the top 4 leagues in England for minutes per goal, scoring 1 goal every 89 minutes, being the likes of Jamie Vardy, who scores a goal every 95 minutes, and even Erling Haaland, who averages a goal every 107 minutes.
Thanks for that, Antonis. If you want to read more about the local game, you can do that on frontpagefootball.net, and you can see Antonis' weekly article about the winners and losers. Well, that's it from us here today on the local game. Ali, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me so much. It's been great.
It's well, look forward to seeing how the results pan out for you on the weekend, and good luck in the doubleheader.
Thank you. I can't wait for it.
Well, that is it from us here today, and thank you for joining us on Channel 44. We'll see you again next week, and if you're on Keko Media, make sure you like and subscribe to not miss an episode. We'll see you all next week on the local game.